Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about creating global families. My name's Kerrin, and I'm here to talk about what exactly is a global family and why should you care so much about this. In the past Ambassador webinars, we've talked a lot about you as an au pair. We've talked about how you've grown, how you've changed throughout your time, and how you've created a second home with your host family. Today, we're not going to talk about those things. In this webinar, we're going to talk about the larger perspective of the au pair experience to truly understand the impact that you all make on the world. Throughout this video, we're going to go into really specific examples on how you've been a part of creating a global family. These moments happen on a daily basis, and you might not even realize the impact that you have. But how does this impact creating a global family, and how does this impact opening up the world? By being part of creating this family, you've created more of an understanding and openness with each person you've interacted with. And this is something that you should all be really, really proud of. But before we start, I want to go back and really introduce myself. So like I said earlier, my name is Kerrin, and I live in Boston, Massachusetts. Throughout my time with cultural care, I've been able to follow my passion of promoting cultural exchange. In my role here, I get the opportunity to talk to au pairs every day. And talking about the experience and how important this program is with au pairs are my favorite conversations to have. And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you about this topic that I find just so important. So let's dive in and talk about why you're all watching this webinar. There are three main points we're going to touch throughout our time together. First, what is a global family? Second, how does this start with you as an au pair? And third, how does your personal experience lead into such a larger picture within your community? So like I said, let's start with what even is a global family? This is a really wide variety of people. So it starts with your host children, to your host parents, to the community around you, to the United States as a whole, and then spreading the word of cultural exchange as you go back home to your home country and share and impact those individuals as well. But I want to take a step back and briefly touch on the very beginning of your personal experience as an au pair. When coming to the US, what do most of you guys achieve personally during this time? So most would say fluency in another language, lifelong friendships, gain a sense of appreciation for the United States and the culture in this country, and creating benefits for your future. So that could mean preferred college admissions, scholarships, global career opportunities, and networking. So we went ahead and asked a few past au pairs what they gained personally on this program. And here's what a few people had to say. So Barbara from the Czech Republic said she improved her English, she traveled and saw new places, culture, met new people and friends, and that working with kids was great practice for her future job. Mayoa from Brazil said, it's an unforgettable experience for us to know about the American culture. And lastly, Christina from Spain said, it's a great experience to learn another language, and that was the main reason for her. And it will also change you as a person. You'll become more mature, learn so many things that nobody can teach you in a classroom. But now thinking of these personal experiences that we often focus on in other webinars, how do these experiences lead just to such a larger picture within your community? So here are a few things I came up with. Creating diversity and new perspectives. This may be the first time somebody in your community experiences culture firsthand. An opportunity to learn about global experience. Teaching others your native language and culture. And again, these are teaching things that you can't learn from a textbook. Sharing viewpoints on international topics. Sharing benefits of cultural exchange, and then in turn, inspiring other people. Helping always keep the door open to exchange. Allowing those around you to learn the differences in lifestyle as deeply as similarities. And global peace building. So going into this all, I'm so excited because we have an amazing ambassador joining us to talk about her experience and the impact of global families throughout her time. Daniela is joining us, and she is 20 years old from Germany. She was an au pair back in October of 2016 for a year and returned back to Germany in November of 2017 after enjoying her travel month. She lived in Tingsboro, Massachusetts with her amazing host family who had 4 children. And currently, Daniela is doing an apprenticeship as an industrial clerk back at home. A fun fact about her is that she can speak 5 languages. This includes Italian, which is her mother tongue language, German, English, and basic Spanish and French. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, Daniela. And to kick it off, I wanted to ask if you would mind briefly explaining what you were looking to gain personally by becoming an au pair here in the United States.
So my cousin had a huge impact on me. She was an au pair back in 2009 with Cultural Care and lived in New York City. So when she told me about her amazing experiences, I was very, very interested, and I really wanted to do this too. But since I was very young, I just, forgot about it. And a couple of years later, my Spanish teacher recommended us to do a gap year. And she told us about her experience with Culture Care as an au pair. So then I really knew I wanted to do this. And I signed up for this great program. And it was the best decision so far I've made in my life. I was trying to gain a lot of experience, maturity, and independence. And to be honest, I really received those skills.
That's amazing. Thanks so much, Daniela. You have so many great connections to this program. And then the whole point of this webinar and just going into the larger picture, what does a global family mean to you?
So a global family means to me to have a real family where you can always come to and even maybe visit them during the years and to always stay in contact. But it also means to have a second community, a second home, and friends from all over the world. And these things have the advantage to have the culture exchange, even though you're not in the US anymore. So you're still having this little thing where you just think you're in the US. You have those experiences and all the things you have done. So yeah.
That's awesome. And like you just said, global families are created through promoting cultural exchange. So based on that, how do you feel that your au pair experience created those new perspectives to those you interacted with? So how your experience might have created a new point of importance on the topic of cultural exchange?
So during my time in the US, I just experienced a new culture. And it was so interesting to see how different it was from Germany. Because, for example, in Germany, we are not as huge, or we don't have as huge things as in America. The grocery stores aren't as huge, or even parking lots or cinemas or houses. They're so small compared to the American ones. But it's not only objects, it's also the mentality. So, for example, Americans are very talkative and patriotic, and Germans are totally not. So this really showed me how different people from other cultures could be. And yeah, you could just compare them and maybe even adapt positive manners. And yeah, for example, what I really love about the US is that every time you enter a store or just go somewhere, you just say, "Hi, how are you?" And in Germany, you would never, ever do that. So yeah, I mean, when I came back from the US, even my mom told me that I seemed different, but in a positive way. I mean, she told me I was more grown up and more independent, which I agree, because while I was in the US, I had to do my own laundry. I had to cook dinner every night. And I adapted all those things. And I still do my laundry, and I sometimes still, cook dinner. And yeah, that really helped me to become the person I am now. And I really do feel ready to start my own life. And yeah, I think that I have grown the independence while I was doing my culture exchange in America. And I think that's a positive thing that will really help me, or even you guys, in your future life.
That's amazing. And you can just see how that happens to so many au pairs and how much personally they grow. And so there's just so many benefits between the personal benefits there, as well as all the people around you that you impact. So That's so great. And just throughout this program, I think we talk so much about the bond that au pairs make with their host families. And they're such a major part of your experience here. And so we talk about how this has affected you. So how do you think this affected your host families? So thinking both about the children and your host parents.
I believe that the au pair program really affected my host family into a very positive way. They've learned so much about different cultures and even about food. And yeah, my host family was very curious to know everything about Germany because it's so different than the US. So we always compared the countries. And yeah, so once I told my host kids about, or even my host family about Germany, they are really, really excited and they really want to experience Germany for themselves in the future. And so that I've seen was that they're really love to be quizzed about the world map, and they really know a lot of countries and their capitals. And you just really see how much they really love to know about other countries. And so yeah, and I think it really helped them because I know a lot about the different cultures. For example, I do have a lot of friends from Turkey, Greece, Latin America, Spain, and I always tell them about their cultures, what they have, or how they are. And since I'm half Italian and half Serbian, I told them about my cultures, and they were so impressed and so excited to hear about all those things. And I mean, to know about different countries and about their cultures is so important for someone's education and for about their openness or their mind. Yeah.
No, and that's so true. And we talk a lot about this program just teaching everybody who's involved in it things outside that you cannot learn in a textbook. And I think that's a perfect example of these stories that you shared with your host children. I can't even imagine just like how much larger their imagination is because of it, and the things that that'll lead them to do in the future because they had you and any future au pair come into their lives. There are just things they're going to want to do that some children might not even know is out there. So that's just so amazing. And then expanding even outside of the host family. And your host family in Tingsboro, how did you share this cultural exchange experience with other people within your community? So that could be, within Tingsboro where you were living, your school, anybody outside of even that network there. How did you share your experience?
For example, I went to a Harvard class, and once the American students knew that I was an au pair from Germany, they were really interested and excited to see like somebody from Germany, and they asked me a lot of questions on how it is to live in Germany and how different it is from the US and how much I would like living in America. So it was pretty cool that people were interested to learn new things. But it was not only like at the class, it was also when I went grocery shopping. And as I already said, Americans are very talkative, and every time they start a small talk or talking with me, I always said, okay, I'm from Germany. I'm just an au pair, and they're really interested to hear about everything about Germany and Europe. So the interesting thing is that a lot of people then said, oh man, I really wish I could go to Europe. It's just so different and it's so interesting, and I really want to experience that. So yeah.
That's awesome. And then now that you're back in Germany, just to continue the bigger picture idea here, how do you continue to spread the importance of global families and the importance of cultural exchange?
Oh, so I do always talk about it. I always talk about my experience. And even though some people are like, okay, she's still talking about it, I just love talking about it. I mean, I want to inspire people and to be, inspire them to do more things and maybe even travel. And one of my friends, she started traveling once I inspired her to do so, because I was always telling her about my travels I did in America. So she was always scared because she didn't want to leave her mom home alone. And so once I told her my stories, she just said, okay, you know what, let's go. she went with her boyfriend. She traveled to 2 different countries and to some cities in Germany, and now she really loves it. And I mean, you can see how much cultural exchange is important, and we can only grow and educate ourselves with a cultural experience. So
that's so great. And your friend is so lucky to have you and somebody to kind of, have somebody to look up to and inspire and see how much this experience has changed you as a person. And it must have been so easy for her mind to kind of change there and see just all of the benefits that come with cultural exchange and just getting outside of your comfort zone. So that's so great. And just to kind of wrap it up, overall, how do you think this idea of a global family will affect you in years to come?
I really want to try to visit my host family every year. I mean, I have already visited them this year for 2 weeks, and it just felt like I've never left Timbsboro. I just really missed my host family and the country. So yeah, I mean, even my host family and I were always talking about if I will ever get married, that they want to come over to Germany and just, experience that important day for me with me. And even with my host children, I mean, once they graduate, I really want to be there too and just experience their day. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited for the future, and I think it affects me in a positive way and the other people as well.
I think that's so exciting to think that you have exactly like a whole second family in another country now for the rest of your life, and just the major events that they're going to want to now be a part of, and vice versa, you wanting to be a part of those moments as well, and just continuing that idea of global family. So I think that is so amazing, and I just want to thank you so much, Daniela, for joining us and just talking about all of your experience, and just you can see how passionate you are, and you're just such a great role model for the ambassador program and just anybody else that's interested in cultural exchange and might just not know about it yet. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and kind of going along with how Daniela felt, we asked a few other au pairs as well how this program impacted them on a larger scale. And I just want to share a few things that people had said. So we spoke with Anika from Germany, and she said, I'm 26 years old and I graduated. This program gave me the opportunity to find a new second family, new friends, to visit different countries, states, and America. And it gave me a new self-confidence and improved my English skills. I'm prepared for everything what's coming now. I will never forget the time that I had with my host family, and especially with my host kids. They're a part of my family now. And Anna from Austria said, it's the best opportunity to work with children, meeting new people who you will become friends with forever, get to know a new culture, and find a second home. In this cultural exchange program, you get a stronger personality, get more confident, and more independent. And as we wrap up this webinar, I want to leave you all with a reflection exercise. These are some things that you can think about, similar to what Sanjela thought about, and just kind of reflect. So what has your contribution to the community been? Where have you made an impact? So you can start on yourself and then think larger picture, so within your community. And from this experience, what will you bring back to your home country? After thinking about these things, I encourage you to share these answers with one another. On the Au Pair Ambassador Facebook page, I'll be following up with these questions in a post. Feel free to reply back with how you feel you've made an impact. Inspire and encourage other au pairs to reflect on their impact as well. And before we end this webinar, I do just want to thank you all so much for listening to just something that I feel so passionate about. Being a part of this program, you're all making such a difference, and I just hope that you're all really proud of that. Continue spreading the importance of cultural exchange and just being a major part of opening our world. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.